Let's move on then to what is our other top story today. Donald Trump's first full day as the 47th President of the United States. He kicked off his second term with a slew of executive orders setting the tone for his presidency. Among his foreign policy moves, Trump signed orders pulling the United States out of the World Health Organization and the Paris Climate Agreement. On the domestic front, he pardoned about 1,500 of his supporters who attacked Congress on January the 6th in the riots then, and declared an immigration emergency on the southern border. Well, let's speak to Catherine Norris Trent live on the programme now. She's our senior reporter in Washington, D.C. at the moment. She covered the inauguration for us yesterday. And Catherine, I suppose these executive orders that Trump has put his name to now do point to a pretty radical shift in how America is governed and how now it's to act on the world stage.
Absolutely. Donald Trump was by no means holding back on his first day in office. Just after the swearing-in ceremony, the inauguration, he sat down publicly at a desk in an arena here in Washington, D.C. and made a big show of signing off a whole raft of executive orders. First of all, undoing 78 executive orders signed by Joe Biden, his predecessor, but then going on, to point the direction to really sweeping reform. So where to start, really? Trump pulled out of major international agreements. The Paris Climate Accord there, US pulling out for a second time. And that was met by huge cheers from the crowd and from Trump supporters here in Washington, D.C., who were watching on television. He also pulled out of the World Health Organization. On the domestic front, he concentrated partly on immigration. That had been part of his rhetoric during the whole campaign. So he signed executive orders declaring a national emergency on the southern border and paving the way to send more troops down there. And he also signed an executive order saying that he would take away the birthright citizenship. People born in the United States then automatically become US citizens. He wants to undo that. Now, whether he'll be able to do so is another matter, because it is actually part of the US Constitution, the 14th Amendment, so he's going to have a legal battle on his hand. And indeed, a few entities, human rights groups, have already filed legal challenges, the American Civil Liberties Union among them. So that is going to be playing out very soon. And then, of course, headline grabbing. He signed pardons for nearly 1,600 January the 6th protesters, rioters, people, including 14 members of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers militias, some of whom had been serving sentences of up to 22 years in jail on charges of sedition. There had been talk of whether perhaps Trump would only pardon or give clemency to those involved in non-violent protests. But some of those who'd been convicted of assaulting police officers or using violence toward police officers are looking to be pardoned as well. So maybe we're going to see them being released imminently.
Well, there's already quite a slew of changes then that Trump has signed, Catherine, but I understand there may be more executive orders coming up today.
Absolutely. So we've heard now the first remarks from Trump's new press secretary in this second term of office, Karoline Leavitt. She's been speaking out on Fox News, and she said that the president today is expected to sign more executive orders. She said that that will involve massive infrastructure projects. We don't have more detail on that as yet, but we also expect President Trump again to be speaking at length. He did several times yesterday, clearly relishing the moment of coming back for a second term in office. And now, the determination of Donald Trump is clear. Whether these infrastructure projects will actually see the light of day is another question. He also promised those during his first term, and many of them didn't actually see the light of day. We're also looking to see more details of the January 6th protesters who could be released, and seeing if there's any events to do with that. Today, the new president and vice president, J.D. Vance, they're at a church service which is closed to the public. So he's got a busy schedule, and we can imagine he's going to be announcing a raft more of policies and executive orders on this first full day in office.